Okay, hello and welcome to Town Talk, a brand new show here in Northbridge on local access channel 191, formerly channel 11. And what we want to do is we want to devote the show to what's going on in the town of Northbridge, what we hear in the social media. There's a number of sites on Facebook that talk Northbridge. I'm going to try and monitor them and try and hit on some of the subjects that are being talked about uh, every week as we go along. So we are taking your calls at 266. What is it? I forget the number now. Yeah, 2660990. We'll get that on the screen eventually. So if you want to call in, there we go. You can call in to Town Talk at 2660990, and we'll be glad to take your call. We let you talk as long as you like. We don't cut you out. So we'll get on with it now. I want to make a couple announcements here. First of all, if you're a fan of Newsmax, if you're not familiar with it, it's primarily a website. It's on the web, but they are going on to cable TV, and they are going to be on Charter. Newsmax will be coming on to Charter on October 23rd. If you remember Bill O'Reilly on Fox, well, he's now on Newsmax. He does a show similar to what he did on Fox. However, he's on Newsmax. And I haven't got the actual channel. We haven't been able to find that out yet. They haven't announced the channel, but I believe what I did get was some information that it would be 172. Now, that's not confirmed, but there's a good chance that's what it's going to be, is 172. So that's coming up on October 23rd. You know, if you're in, like I say, I like it because it gives you another media, another outlet, and always look for news. And there's some shows that are on there that are pretty good. Okay, also from Charter, and I might have to put my glasses on for this because the print's a little small. We have an increase coming, an increase in your cable bill. And I'm going to read their letter. At Charter, locally known as Spectrum, we continue to enhance our services, offer more of the best entertainment choices, and deliver the best value. We are committed to offering our customers with products and services we are sure they will enjoy. Containing cost and efficiency, managing our operations are critical to providing customers with the best value possible. Like every business, Charter faces rising costs that require occasional price adjustments. As a result, customers will be notified of the following price adjustments through a bill message on or after October 1st, 2018, effective on or after November 1st, 2018. Pricing will be adjusted for residential video service. Your broadcast TV surcharge will go from $8.85 to $9.95, going up $1. Spectrum receivers from $6.99 to $7.50, so that's a 51-cent increase. And Latino View from $7.99 to $8.99. And they go on to say, we remain committed to providing an excellent experience for our customers in your community and in each of the communities we serve. If you have any questions about the change, please feel free to contact me at 207-253-2217 or via email at melindakinney@charter.com, who is the Senior Director of Government Affairs. And the letter was actually sent to the town, but we're giving you the information that this is going up in price. Charter is going up in price, so you figured you'd like to hear that, and it's going up the same day your tax bill is due in the town of Northbridge, November 1st. So, welcome to adjust the budgets. Also, on Tuesday, October 16th, we're going to have Downtown Rockdale. The Northbridge Community Planning and Development Office, in partnership with the Planning Board, is working with Mass Development and the Urban Land Institute in developing strategies to enhance and assist in the future development opportunities for downtown Rockdale. The workshop is designed to provide objective expert advice to municipal residents and community-based organizations on the feasibility, design, and implementation of development initiatives and interdisciplinary hate those long words. A team of professionals will conduct a day-long brainstorming session, develop strategies and realistic options to move identified projects forward. Topics of discussion to include slum and blight. What role the town can play to assist and address vacant, underutilized, deteriorated properties, which we do have in Rockdale. Zoning. What role can the town play in promoting private reinvestment? How can we rezone? How can we set up for better private reinvestment? And flooding. Another problem in Rockdale. What can be done to minimize the potential of flooding along the Blackstone River? Okay, residents and local stakeholders are encouraged to participate in an informal session during the day to help identify and discuss focused topics, as well as attend an evening presentation by the panel who will review findings and identify next steps. Your input is important. Please share your thoughts and experience with us. This is a great opportunity to start thinking about positive ways to enhance and revitalize downtown Rockdale. The morning session is planned for 10 a.m. at the town hall, with the presentation scheduled for 6 p.m. So it'll be two different meetings. An invitation will be distributed later this month. If you have any questions or would like to learn more, you can contact the Community Development Office at 508-234-2447 or by email at planning@northbridgemass.org. And that was by the letter from the town planner. And we'll talk a little bit about that. I can tell you, 1955 saw the most severe flood in Rockdale. 2005 saw a bad one, but 55 was the most severe that, and on record even. There was a flood in 1936, I believe, but it didn't reach the levels of 1955. 1955, the bottom floor of almost every home on Providence Road was underwater. And it was a mass evacuation. It was necessary because, and I was young. I lived through it. And back 55, I was 7 years old. So we haven't seen that since. We did see one in 2005. I can say that a lot of things have happened since that big flood in 1955. We have Jim Knott took over the dam. We had a minor flood here again. The street went underwater. The cellars got flooded in 1979, in January of 79, with a large snow melt and a lot of rain. But Jim Knott didn't take over the dam until later that year. Once he took it over, he regulated it well. And we didn't get the flooding until 2005. And that was caused by something that happened in Worcester, where they opened up the wrong gateway and we had a tsunami wave come down the river. And that's basically what happened, because it was done and over in a matter of hours. And so there was not a normal flood. Normal flood, when you get what we had in Rockdale, would last for days. This was done over in just a matter of hours. So my point is that we're at the point now, it's not as bad. Rockdale is the only village along the entire Blackstone that is at a level so low, so close to the river, that it does flood. Whereas, because if you go through other communities, take a look at Millbury, Sutton, it doesn't have anything really that low. Grafton is close to it, if you're down in South Grafton. So you might say South Grafton and Rockdale are really the only places that are close to the river to the point that it floods over. but we don't have it that bad anymore. So to say what in 1955 the Corps of Engineers said the best thing you could do is take all these businesses and all these homes along Providence Road, at the time it was called Main Street, you could take all these businesses and move them to the top of the hill because it's just going to keep flooding. Well, they're wrong. It's not going to keep flooding. So anyway, we're looking at trying to do something. I know there's a prospect for a possible restaurant in downtown Rockdale in a building that's vacant right now, but there's a parking problem. So that's something we can address, how we address the parking problem. The streetscape program meant to dress it up, but it actually shrunk the parking spaces. So, I mean, you know, and today parking is crucial. You can't have a business without a lot of parking. So these are things we want to look at. What type of business do we want to bring in? You know, we've got to start with, we have an antique dealer, that you bring in more antique dealers. You know, sometimes businesses, other business that are established draw other businesses. Competition draws competition. We have the outlets over in the mill with the curtain factory, the braided rug, Bay State floors over there. I mean, so you draw more in that way. We have some housing going up in Rockdale, and if you see it over by the former Northbridge Nursing Home, they're digging out around just behind the wall there where the mansion used to be. Well, that's another apartment building going up. So there's going to be residents. Residents require services. So what type of services do we bring in? You know, we got a nice little common down there. Why don't we keep it up, make it look better? If you got a nice place to walk around, and people like to walk on the street, and that it attracts attention. Rockdale is pretty diversified. We got, you know, low-income housing, moderate housing, and then we got very well-to-do housing if you go up toward the golf course. So it's a pretty diversified area. But we have to look at how we can, you know, what can we do to try and stimulate something down there. And Church Street seems to be coming back. We've got a lot of small businesses on Church Street. So how about, you know, we can start something. When I was a kid, we had all kinds of businesses down on Providence Road. And I'm talking a very assorted amount of businesses. In fact, including a movie theater where the Butcher Block used to be. That building was actually a movie theater. And then later became Obershaw Hardware. But and then they moved out. But we got to do something to get somebody back, you know, people back in, and get these vacant buildings fixed up, the abandoned buildings, raise them or fix them, do something. But they're eyesores. So these are all things we have to look at. Hey, another thing we like to get into, the marijuana. It looks like there's a good chance that we will have, well, there's a possibility, I'm not saying it was going to happen, but there's a possibility we could have a marijuana growing facility. This is coming up at the town meeting. Right now, under the bylaw, the marijuana bylaw, if it passes, and if it doesn't pass, then it doesn't matter where they go because they'll be allowed to go anywhere. But basically, but under the marijuana bylaw that the town is being proposed, the I-2 is a place where you could do cultivating. Well, the Knott property on the other side of the railroad tracks from the mill, where they've been excavating gravel, there's a proposal to put a cultivating, to do marijuana cultivating down there. It's done indoors, it's not done outdoors. They don't grow it out in the open. From what I understand, it's a fragile plant, and it needs to be cultivated indoors and needs special heating and moisture and things like that. So it's all done indoors. Well, they need to, right now it's zone residential. In fact, it's zone R3, which allows for multi-family housing. So that's what they could put there as it stands right now. if it gets voted to I-2 and the marijuana bylaw goes through, then they could do a marijuana cultivating station in there. And that might not be a bad thing. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to buy it because I don't care about it. But hey, it's now legal in Massachusetts. I know it's not legal nationally, but it is legal in Massachusetts. And we have to deal with it. And if the town can make out by it, and I'd rather see commercial development in that property and that, what you might say industrial development. In fact, I-2 allows for only light industry, so you're not talking smokestacks, you're not talking loud factories. It's not going to be, they couldn't move the Riverdale Mill over into there, in other words. All he could do there is warehouse if he didn't use it for the marijuana cultivation. But he does have egresses, a number of egresses there, so he could put a lot of houses in there, single family or multifamily. And, which way do you want to go? I think we need to look more at trying to keep down the amount of housing in Northbridge. We're currently 80% residential and 20% commercial industrial. That's not a very good spread. I think we need to increase that a little more in the commercial industrial. And this is one way of doing it. So that's at town meeting. It's coming up October 23rd. And so, didn't I say October 23rd? But yeah, so the same night Newsmax comes on, we'll be at the town meeting, unfortunately. We'll watch it. But anyway, this I think is. I would like to. Anybody else want to give opinions on this? There are some people in town that prefer that we don't do marijuana at all. Now, we had several votes. We had the initial state ballot, which had passed under the state ballot. So then, if we were not to have any marijuana sales in the town, it had to go through a town meeting vote and a townwide ballot. In both cases, the town said, we want it. Now, I hear a lot of people said they voted for it because they think that, we're going to bring in tons of revenue. Don't get excited. You don't see tons of revenue coming in from it. There'll be a number of places all over, not just in Northbridge, and people can grow it themselves. So if you can grow it yourself and you can get away with it, why would you bother going and pay for it? So I don't know how many people are going to be purchasing it. And I don't know how much business they're going to do, but I don't foresee tremendous amounts of money coming in by it. But I could be wrong. What can I say? But I'd like to hear some opinions from people out there. I do have the bylaw. I got the state guidelines that we were sent down from the state as to what can be done and where it can be done and all that stuff, and what they expect some of the results would be. So if you got any questions on it, hey, give me a call now. People have always said they wanted I heard from a number of people, we'd like to have a show that deals in town politics. Well, here's a show that deals in town politics. But if it's not going to get received well, if they're not going to get calls, then maybe we won't bother doing a show at all, without guests. Because I'm not going to sit here for an hour and just talk, and I couldn't do it. Some people can do it, I can't. I can't talk for a whole hour on just the town, even though there are a lot of things going on. We got some other stuff going on is going to be on the town meeting warrant is to zone some property that is now zoned as residential once again to commercial. And that is off of Church Street, actually behind the Dunkin' Donut on Providence Road. So it's a good piece of property, but the entrance is off of Church Street. And the owner wants to zone it to commercial so that they can be able to get some, put a strip mall in there. And here again, not a bad, we got a phone call. And we're going to take this call right here, get this thing to work. Go ahead, you're on.
Hey, good evening, Harry.
Hi, Barry.
How you how you doing tonight with the new show so far?
Well, you're my first call. We want to see what's going on.
Oh,
We
okay.
want to
Well,
get some
there's a lot
controversy
going on,
going.
as you know.
Yeah, but I hear from people they want to hear about the town and talk about the town. Then we talk about it, but they don't call.
Okay. Well, here's some stuff that's going on from what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I got some calls the other day that the roofs are leaking in Bama,
Yes.
NES, and the middle school, and
Yes.
they're leaking pretty good with this last rain. Now, I don't know if the Board of Selectmen have been notified about this, but hopefully, when they are, that that they have their emergency powers that they can utilize or whatnot, or try to get at least some type of stopgap measure on these leaks in the school ceilings, because if they don't get these things secured, water getting in like that is not good, and it can create other things such as mold, mildew, and
Right.
airborne mold spurs and whatnot. So from what my satellites are telling me, they're saying that they've been leaking pretty good. So maybe the school committee and the board of selectmen are on it, but hopefully they are. But that's something that needs to be addressed, and you may not be able to wait until if the new school gets built or whatnot. I mean, if your roof is leaking, you got to act on it.
Well, the new school, if it does get approved, what the occupancy wouldn't be to 2021, I believe.
Right.
Same year that the Worcester Red Sox would be in.
Right.
So I mean, you got a few years now. You can't just let the thing go. I understand that
Something
part
you
of the
got to act on, and hopefully, that they'll try to do something on that.
well, the Bomber School's got a flat roof,
Right.
and that's part of the problem there. And I guess part of the problem is the drains. So I don't know if the drains, if it could be cleaned, would that help? I don't know exactly what the problem is.
Right.
But they've had leaking roof problems in the past.
Right.
This is not something new. And same with the middle school. Now, in middle school, I understand the problem is in one of the oldest part.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there again, of course, with the Bomber School, the resolution, the final resolution is a new school. Are you still there, Barry?
Yep, still here.
Okay. It's a new school. And then when they get that, they're moving the fifth grade back.
Right.
So now they're going to take and adjust the middle school so that those rooms would not be used.
Right.
But you're right. You got to do something in between.
Right. You just can't let them. Like I said, all I did. I got some calls from friends that they heard about this, and like I said, I don't know. If there's somebody from the school committee or the board of selectmen listening tonight, if they're already acting on it, maybe they can call in. But I just that's something that like I said, you can't wait till the new school gets built, and maybe there's some type of stopgap measures that can be done. But they also got to check to make sure that if it is leaking, if there's any mold or mildew or anything like that that was created from the leaking area. I mean, it's we can't have that going on. You can't just say, well, let's wait and see what happens
Right.
with the new school.
Well, the thing is, too, now, you can see I got plenty of room on this table for other people. So, we can, we'll try and get some guests in from time to time and answer those questions, or try and get answers during the week and then come back and give you the answers.
Right. Like I said, they may be working on it, but maybe the town manager could put a short blurb on the town website if
Yeah.
going on, because it is a town buildings.
Well, it should be addressed. They could address it. They're having a selectmen's meeting this Monday, so they could address it then.
Right. And like I said, where something this serious. I mean, like I said, the board of selectmen have emergency powers to act, and
Oh, yes.
if need be, they can do that.
Right. That's what the reserve fund's for, too. You got the money to back it up.
Right.
So if they need to do it.
Because it's my understanding they got about 2.5 million in the stabilization.
Right.
and then they also have the like $1 million in the health insurance stabilization. But who knows? Maybe that might be covered by insurance too. That's another thing.
Yeah, yeah, you don't know. We don't know exactly what it is.
Right.
On the other subjects, how do you feel about the marijuana situation?
Well, so far under the democratic process, Harry, the town has voted in favor of it, and
You might say 3 times.
right. So you know, all I hear from town hall is that they don't have any money. There's another additional you know, tax revenue coming into the town. I mean, I find it interesting. The town has an annual budget of $43 million, and you know, they can't even afford flowers. I think there's a citizen volunteer group that's going to be putting flowers up.
Well, it's not the cost of the flowers.
They're going to be
There's no one to take care of them.
put some up in Rockdale.
Yeah, nobody to take care of them.
Well, I guess this group's going to take care of them. I think it was the same people. They did something in Douglas, and
Yes,
now
yes,
they're-
they did. I heard about that. That's great because the DPW is not going to do it because they can't handle what they got now.
well, no, they're down to a skeleton crew, Harry.
Right.
And that's crazy too. I mean, the DPW budget's been level funded for almost 15 years,
Right.
and you know, it's you gotta have these support services to keep the town going. I mean, maybe it's time that they really look at the whole town budget and see where all this $43 million is going, and you know, and or maybe open it up to some suggestions from the citizens. Who knows, you know? But let's get back to Rockdale for a second now. On
Yes.
the old bungalow, what's going on there? Is that
Well, they fixed the roof because they had a fire there, and they did do the roof, and I
Right.
imagine they fixed up what was damaged inside, but I haven't heard any more. I heard there was someone interested, but I haven't heard any more. I heard there was someone interested in Brian's.
Uh-huh.
I haven't heard any more.
right?
But there's another spot in Rockdale where someone's interested in the restaurant, but here again, you got to have parking.
Right.
That's part of it, the old bungalow, you know, Sammy's. There's not a lot of parking,
No.
and if you do park there, it's still dangerous getting in and out.
Right. Right.
So you know, these are things that we got to look at and try and address, and hopefully something will come out of this downtown Rockdale seminar.
Right. 'Cause I know the town has an excellent planner, Harry, and
Yes.
I bet you know, like I said, if some thoughts you know, were run by the town planner, maybe they could look at, you know, this issue and help address the parking. I mean, I don't know, you know, like I said, about maybe they could use some of the parking at the new youth center. That when the youth center's not being used,
Well, that's going to be turned into a park, which
oh
I mean, the DPW don't have time to cut the grass now that they got. Now we're going to add some more to it.
right. Or
Actually,
maybe
they seeded it, but you know, when you just seed your grass, you know, anybody will tell you when you build a house, you just seed your grass. You don't put weed killer and everything else. You're not going to get just grass. You're going to get a lot of weeds.
right.
And that's what they got there. It's not really a good looking grass. So,
Right.
but maybe we can get something with a grant to try and fix that up a little bit. You
Right.
can't build anything on it.
Right. And I mean, you know, maybe there might be some, you know, was it Saint, where the church is, maybe
St. Peter's?
they could, you know, offer some of their parking, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't mind during the week and when there's no masses.
Right.
And you know, the other thing too is, you know, where the current fire department is. If we put the fire department in a different part of town, like in Plumbers,
Mhm.
and those are things that are being looked at. I don't know what they're going to do, but if they did put it in Plumbers, you can eliminate the Rockdale station.
Right.
So, and that would free up that spot.
Right.
And another thing to look at is, you know, access to the river, because the river's, you know, water draws crowds and draws people.
Right. Look what they did down in Providence.
Yeah, But you know, if you have a canoe launch down there or something like that,
Right.
there's a lot of things you can do. You can look at.
Right. I don't know if you've ever been to that restaurant in Woonsocket that's right there on the water. And
Been there a number of times. Riverside. I've eaten outdoors right next to the river. So it's nice. Really, it's a pleasant experience to eat there.
right. So I mean, like I said, they really wouldn't have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, they could apply some of those same things.
Well, these are the things we have to look at. But you know, we have different landowners we have to talk to.
Hmm.
But there you go now. If you put a restaurant into that building where, well, it was a junk store a little while ago, but they
Right.
closed. But you put a restaurant in there, they could put a patio out back, almost over the river.
Right.
But here again, you need some parking.
Right. Right.
But the river has come a long way. When I was a kid, it stunk.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Now it's a lot cleaner now.
Right. And like I said, you could use it as a as an incentive for like for that like they did down in Rhode Island or other
Yeah.
places where where the water is nearby.
Oh yeah, I mean it's on the Blackstone River. At the Riverside restaurant is right on the Blackstone River,
Right.
right before the water control dam that they have in downtown Woonsocket,
Right.
and it
Now-
flows through. It's like a gorge. So it
Now the building where they used to have the Rockdale Halloween parties in, what's in there now? Is that a private residence?
well yeah, part of it's a private residence. I think he does some manufacturing in the bottom.
Oh,
That was called a Village Hall.
right.
That was built by the Paul White Manufacturing Company. They actually had a bowling alley in the bottom and a theater upstairs
Oh,
with a stage.
right.
And it was a nice place.
Hmm.
They had ticket booths when you walked in the doors at the bottom.
Right, 'cause I remember going in there when I was a youngster with my aunt.
Yes, yes. And the American Legion used to have the Halloween parties there,
Right, right.
like going way back.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I saw one of our old Legion members at a grocery store the other day, and he talked about the Christmas parties at the old Legion, and
Well, at the former where the studio is now.
right, because a lot of people remember what you did there for that, for all the kids in town and stuff, and a lot of memories.
But if the studio hadn't moved here, there wouldn't be enough money for a Christmas party. Believe me.
Right, right.
And last year, the NCTV as well as the American Legion made a donation to the youth center, and they put on a Christmas party.
Right. Now, is there any parking at that youth center?
Well, it is. Yeah, they use what was the playground was paved
Hmm.
in the back. If you remember St. Peter's
Right.
School,
St.
and
Peter's.
they use that for parking.
Right. So I mean, there's maybe, like I said, maybe there's some spots there. But
Well, the thing is too, you're too far away from the downtown.
Oh,
People people want to walk all the way down the hill and back up.
right, right,
So you need to have the parking down there in the business section.
right.
But like I said, these things can be looked at. There's a lot of room in back of those homes down there.
Hmm.
You know, Norman Gattery took over those two houses from Ronnie Lesko, and he's fixed up the one that wasn't fixed up. Looks nice.
Hmm. Well, like I said, we have an excellent town planner, so I'm sure that if anybody can find something,
Right.
he's the man.
Oh yeah.
And do you remember there was a World War II honor roll at the Linwood Park?
Yes. It was right in
Whatever
front of
happened to that,
right in
or-
front of the park there on Providence Road.
Right.
In fact, if you go to there's a couple of town books that were put out, and there's pictures of it,
Hmm.
but I can't find the names. I know that when Jim Knott was alive, he said he would have paid to put the thing back there, like he did in Riverdale. The
Right.
one in Riverdale was made of wood too,
Oh.
and it was falling apart. He took it, and he had the names put on granite and put it back up as granite.
Right.
See, if you had granite, it wouldn't fall apart.
Right. Right.
And they could do the same thing in Linwood,
Right.
but they need to get the names.
Right.
And I don't know how you get the names off that picture because it's not that clear.
Right. I'm wondering if the town has a record somewhere.
I was told by some of the guys on the committee, the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Committee, that they didn't know where they could find the names.
Oh,
And, that was a World War II, so it'd be people from World War II that's from Linwood who served.
right.
Now, I believe the Winesville Memorial contains everyone from Northbridge that served in World War II and Korea.
Uh-huh.
Next to the Vietnam Memorial.
Right.
So they are being recognized.
Right, I know. But I was just wondering whatever happened to that.
Well, it rotted. It was wood,
Oh, okay.
and it just aged.
I wonder if the DPW took it down.
Well, I'm sure it was the DPW, but it was a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
It went down years and years ago.
Well, I watched the last Board of Selectmen's meeting. It looks like they're going to do something with the fence around Electric Pond, and then some of the fencing going out.
That was voted on at the Maytown meeting.
Right.
They're finally getting to it.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they get it done before the snow flies.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're
Because
probably gearing up down there
that's
now.
another thing, Barry. You come into town, it looks so ugly.
Right.
And another thing too, part of your to beautify a downtown Rockdale, you want to open up to the river.
Right.
When we were kids, you could see the river.
Right.
Those trees are grown, and they cover everything up now.
Yeah.
And the electric pond, one of the problems they got there is the poison ivy is actually going onto the sidewalk.
Right. So I know they had a problem. They couldn't afford weed control stuff because.
Well, no, you have to be licensed to use it,
Right.
and they don't have a licensed individual at DPW.
Right. Because if you remember the gentleman from Linwood used to call in and complain a lot. He used to bring up about the weeds and everything there
Right.
on Linwood Ave and stuff. And I guess.
Well, that's another problem. And here again, the DPW can only do so much.
Right.
But God, we have new sidewalks and we got grass growing through them.
Right.
We got grass growing through the wall at the town hall.
Right.
I mean, that doesn't make your town look good.
No. Well,
And I'm not really faulting them because they got guys out on
that was-
disability and they're short-handed. They got a very skeleton crew now.
right. And so I mean, some of these things need to be addressed. I don't know if they ever will.
Right.
And now, it's my understanding the fall town meeting's going to be at the high school. So
Well, I don't know if they've made that decision yet.
I thought somebody said they did, but so I mean, for the people that go to the town meeting, they might want to just stay alert and make sure, because I'm hearing rumors that it's going to be at the high school.
Well, that's what we're waiting. I'm sure the selectmen will announce that Monday night
Okay.
because the moderator makes the decision,
Right.
and he's looking at a big crowd.
Oh yeah.
They're anticipating a large crowd.
Right.
It could happen and it may not, and it may not happen. It could go either way.
Right.
But because of the certain things on the ballot, and not just the school, but the marijuana thing as well.
Right.
So.
No, I think it's going to be a long meeting, and hopefully they'll make sure they get, if you're going to be the video clerk, they make sure they get some cheers for you or something, Harry.
Yeah, I can grab a chair. That's not a big problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm sure it's going to be a long meeting.
Right.
There's only, I think, 13 articles.
Right.
So that's not bad.
Right.
I mean, we're usually in the 20s.
Yeah.
So.
And so it should be a good meeting.
Yeah.
And all right. Well, hey, I'll there might be someone else out there.
I think someone was trying to come through. That was the beep we were getting.
Good luck here on your new show, Harry.
Well, thank you, Barry, and hey, thanks for calling.
Okay. Bye.
Goodbye. Yeah. While I was talking to Barry, we kept on getting that beep. I believe that was a call trying to come in. So here's your opportunity. Barry's gone. Here's your opportunity to give a call and tell us what you think. Here we go. My fault. Need a better system. Yeah, I'm with you know, DPW can only do so much. They don't have a big crew, but it's a shame that the town, you know, it doesn't look good when you have grass growing out of the sidewalk. They've done a great job with the roads. Look, we've got a lot better roads than we've ever had. And I know I've seen it online, on Facebook, how some people have said that, hey, you think the roads are bad, here, go to Upton, go to Uxbridge. So, hey, we got another call coming in. Go ahead, Carl, you're on. Whoops, wait a minute, the speaker didn't go on. Okay, now you're on.
Hello, Harry. How you doing?
Okay, Abe.
I think this will be a general question for a lot of people. Is 3 and 11 done as the way we know it?
Yeah, well, you know, it went for over 25 years.
Oh, yes. I know. I know that. I just wanted to see that officially. So you're going to be on every week now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I wanted to call and just wish you the best of luck.
Well, I'm going to try to. I mean, there's only so many things you can talk about.
Yes. And I'm sure it's going to be successful. And well, you'll have one guy who'll be calling in quite often, so you can count on that. And I just want to say I was a little disappointed the other night on about the Valley when there was only one caller.
Yeah, I know. I mean, people are concerned about this. Here's your opportunity to talk about it.
There was your opportunity to talk face to face with anyone you wanted involved with the project.
Right.
And just bore down and get an answer. And so I was, you know, I know we've had the forums and we've had this and that, but I was, I don't know. I was just a little disappointed that there wasn't a little more interest shown in that. And I'm sure you're going to be getting more calls in the school as we go.
We got a picture of it right there for you on our monitor.
Yeah, we'll go from there. And one other thing I was going to mention, and I'll mention it now, is people seem to think that we can just, you know, if it passes, that we can just take those two buildings and sell them tomorrow. It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
No, that property will be given from the schools back to the town.
Right.
The town will.
But it'll be under the jurisdiction of.
Board of Selectmen will deem fit with it what it wants at the time, whether it wants to have a business, whether it wants to have office space, whether it wants to whatever. But another thing you have to remember, when 2021 comes, the 5 selectmen on there might not be there to begin with. I mean, you know.
Oh, yeah. I mean.
I think people have to wait. You just calm down a little on what we're going to do with those buildings, and let's worry about the new building if it passes, or if it doesn't. Like I said, whatever the town wants, you turn around and see where that's going to go. So a lot of people are concerned about what we're going to get for those buildings, and I think they're jumping ahead about 5 steps.
Right, and the thing is that, you know, maybe they'll have to be, well, the Bomber School is going to be raised.
Yep.
So we know what's going to happen there. And that's going to be a new playground area.
It's not a problem there.
That's part of the plans.
Yep.
On Cross Street, that's the question. Now, one thing I know, we won't be paying the church anymore for the corner of the building, because it won't be necessary. What can be done with it? Well, who knows? I mean, it could be developed into housing. It could be raised and something else go there. It could be a site for a new fire station.
Yeah. The point is, in 2021, it'll be up to the Board of Selectmen, whoever on at that time. So I think for people to get, you know, definitively want to know what's going to be done with it.
Right.
You can't tell. There's no answer.
No.
But anyway, I just wanted to call in. I want to wish you good luck on your show, and hopefully it'll go well. And I encourage people out there, simply put, that they can call in and have a nice, peaceful conversation. And, you know, I think that you should take advantage of it. So
I just want to get your opinion.
My friend, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Well, I wanted to get your opinion on one other thing.
Go right ahead.
You know that the house that's on that property, that where the school administration building is.
Yes.
That was part of the property.
Okay.
Because that was the convent.
Yes.
Well, why didn't we include, and I brought that up to them, And they said, yeah, we probably should have done that, but included an office in the new school, and then you could have sold that place as well. Get rid of everything on Cross Street. Well, that's on Linwood Ave, actually.
Yeah. Harry, that was going on back in the early '80s when I was down there.
Yeah.
They've always wanted their little kingdom down there to be alone, and personally, I think that should have been gone a long time ago. And
Well, you should have an office within one of the schools.
that's exactly the point. That's exactly the point. So, my understanding is that if the school does pass, that will happen.
Well, another thing you could do, you could move the administration office into the middle school because you're going to have more room there now.
Yep.
Because you're taking a grade out.
Right. Well,
So-
we should be able to do it now, like you said, with the space, and that time was 35 years ago.
Right.
So, but I would be all for that. Just shutting it down, selling it, and move on from there. If people are talking about getting some money, that would be an ideal place to do it with new modern buildings. Let's take advantage of the space.
Yeah, it could be an office building. I don't know how much demand for office space there is, but
Well, we're gonna have options, and when that time comes, we'll see what's best for the town.
right.
So you go from there. But I did want to call, and I did want to once again wish you good luck on the show. And I was going to say you'll have someone calling from time to time. So
I hope so. I got to go another 15 minutes here with.
there you go. All right, my friend. You have a good night.
All right. Thank you, Abe. Now, cut this out. There we go. Okay. Yeah, there's so many things that, this school, I got to hand it to the committee. I mean, they've done everything they can to inform people as to what's going on. They've had forum after forum, another one coming up just before the town meeting. So, I mean, how many times can you talk about it before we make the move? And I know nobody wants to see their pay more taxes. I don't want to pay more taxes. I don't want to pay more for gas. I don't want to pay anything extra for anything. In fact, I'd like it if it was if we lived in a utopia and we had to pay for anything. But hey, that's the way it is. Okay. If our tax rate goes up, but you got to invest in your future. And I know I got people that say, "Oh, what's the matter with you?" Look, I've got no stake in the school personally because my granddaughter is in Valley Tech. My kids are both out of school, so and I don't foresee any great-grandchildren for a little while. That's not my point. My point is you have to act as a community, and as a community, you're going to invest in the community, and that's the education in the community. You have to educate your society, and you got to give them a decent place to get educated in. And times have changed. We don't educate the way we used to. You go back far enough, we had little schoolhouses all over town. When I went to school in the Rockdale School, which is no longer there, but it's now the Rockdale House, but the building actually burnt, we had 2 grades in one room. I don't know how those teachers handled it. I can't remember that far back. Well, she would teach. I was in the 2nd and 3rd grade, in the 1st and 2nd in the same room, and Mrs. Agopian, who was the teacher, would teach the 1st grade. Then she'd go over and teach the 2nd grade. We only had half of the room. That's the way they did it. We were only Rockdale kids in that school. And then we had the 3rd grade, and the 4th and 5th were together, and the 6th were by themselves. So. And then 4th and 5th was Mrs. Lemia, and she would teach the 4th. And some of the stuff would actually, you'd pick it up. You're in the 1st grade, and you're picking up some of the stuff in the 2nd grade, so you were a little ahead of time. But you can't do it that way. It's more complicated today. There's more, the learning today is a lot more difficult because the kids have to learn stuff that we didn't have to. We learned a lot of basic stuff, and that's still got to be learned, but you also have to learn, teach them for today's industry. I was down at the Blackstone Valley Chamber today talking to Jeannie Hebert, because we got some stuff coming up. And, she's talking about, she's got more school system now that want to get involved in her education center down there because they're teaching to today's industries. That's what they're going to do there. They're going to teach kids to be prepared to go into what the industries are today. Because the industries are complaining, I can't get employees that know how to run today's machinery, know how to do planning, know how to do what we need to do. Don't understand the way things are today because it's all changed. And that's what they're trying to do there. Valley Tech does that now, but they can't take everyone there. It's not enough room. So this is a great program that they got going there, and I think it's going to be a great success. In fact, the state is looking at setting up other places similar to this concept. And I got to hand Jeannie a big applause here because she did a great job with putting that together. And I think it's going to be a wonderful thing once it gets really rolling. But I want to mention we were down there October 30th. The new Gulf Station over there in the arcade is going to have an open house, and we will be there because we're going to do a live radio broadcast from there. But also we're giving out goods and stuff. But then I was talking with the merchandising director, marketing director for the company. It's owned by a company. They own 20 stations, 20 convenience stores. Well, on the 31st of October, they're going to actually have face painting there. So not a bad idea because you can go trick-or-treating with your face painted. It's safer than wearing a mask. They talk about how the mask can be a problem for kids out in the street because the mask falls down, it blocks their view. And even if they're seeing through the mask, their vision is limited. You don't have the same peripheral vision and you're a little harder to see. We all know we wore a mask in the past. Well, if you had your face painted, you get the same vision as you had without it painted. So it doesn't affect your vision at all. So that's something you're going to be doing. And I'll tell you more about that when it comes as I hear more about it. But that's what I was told today when I had a meeting down there with them. But anyway, we only got a few minutes left. If anybody, it looked like someone's calling in, but I don't think so. We want to hopefully we get some more calls other than two regulars. We do have a phone call. I'm going to take it real quick because we're getting late. Go ahead, you're on.
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
It's Biddle.
Oh, hey, Mike. How you doing?
Good, good. Hey, you're right about Rockdale. We definitely got to do something about Rockdale.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've been trying for years. Hopefully, we can get something done this time.
Yeah, I know it.
It's been, and there are things that can be done, but it's going to take work. You got to work with the people, the owners of the properties. You got to work within the town, and you work with the residents.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a meeting that's open to everybody.
Great.
You ought to come yourself. It's going to be at the town hall on, I haven't got a date here. Oh, I know I got a date somewhere. But anyway, it's going to be at the town hall. Oh, I know I have a date because I have it written on my calendar because I'm going to be there. So let me dig this out so I can make that announcement right now.
Right.
It's, okay, it's going to be in, wait a minute. I can't read my writing, Mike. Oh, my God. I know it's on it. My writing gets, the older I get, the worse my writing gets. Oh, the 16th.
Oh, great.
The 16th. So it'd be at 10 o'clock and again at 6 o'clock.
Right.
And both meetings are at the town hall. So at the 16th, that's what, in 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah. 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
both,
because I never seen Rockdale like this, so like it is,
right. I mean, you remember when we were young, we had stores all over Rockdale.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hey,
Yeah,
we have 5 bars in Rockdale.
Yeah, you walk around downtown. Yeah, those are gone too.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're down to 1.
Yeah, I know it.
But yeah, things change, and markets change.
Yeah.
Bars aren't what they used to be. They're not as popular as they used to be.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah,
It's
I was just saying, how busy it was back then.
right. But like I say, times change and things change, and you got to move with the times. And we still got some
You're
business.
right.
We still got businesses down. You got Gary's, you got Cumberland Farms, you got the Fish Man, you got the junk store where Charlie's Barber Shop used to be, and
Right? Yeah.
we got the businesses in the mill. So, but we got to find something. We got a nail place down there. There's other things that could go in. And I said there was a guy interested in a restaurant, but he needs some parking.
Yeah.
So these are
That's a
things
tough
that
one.
you have to. These are things you have to work on. But you also got to dress the place up.
Yeah, too bad we couldn't make a parking lot behind where Rubber Shed used to be, or someplace back there. There's a lot of open space back there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Between from back of the houses to the river, there's a lot of open space. And these are things that you have to work with the
property too,
Yeah, you have to work with the landowners on that.
Right.
And the house that's abandoned right now on Providence Road, work with the owner, see if we can get him some incentives, maybe some grant money to take that place down and put a little parking lot there.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
These are all things that could be done.
Right. Hey, I'm just calling you. I'm wishing you luck in your show.
Okay, good to hear from you.
All right.
We'll see you later, Mike.
All right.
Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up with about 3 minutes left. There's no About the Valley tomorrow night. In fact, I have a earth removal board meeting, and we don't have them very often. So we're having that tomorrow night. I won't be able to be here for About the Valley and had no guest anyway. The following week, Joanne Powell will be here. She's a candidate for county clerk of county court, however you say it, in Worcester. So she will be here, and then we're going to take another Thursday off, and then I have Senator Mike Moore coming in, and after that, who knows, whatever we come up with. But I hope you enjoyed tonight. Don't forget to vote on November 6th, coming up, not that far away from the election. It looks like it's going to be a big one, a big turnout. It seems they're saying both sides are getting energized. Well, the ones that really, the important ones that energize are the unenrolled independent, whatever you want to call them, because they're the ones that can go either way. and they're the ones that sway the election today. Because, you got half the country votes Democrat, half the country votes Republican. It's the ones in the middle, the independents, whichever way they go, seems to send the election one way or another. And that includes Massachusetts, because unenrolled in Massachusetts outnumber both together. So we'll see what happens on November 6th. And okay, don't forget the town meeting on October 23rd. Another big one. And if the debate doesn't last too long, the town meeting won't last too long. So we will see you next week on Town Talk. If you like our new set, let us know. Okay, it takes a long time to put this together, so now we got to break it down before we go home. See you next week.